don't like that, mate. That sound isn't good.
You might have to just sort of, yeah, we're sort of going to have to lean a little bit forward.
Lean.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, mate. Alopecia of the ball bag. So, anyway, how's it going, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here. I'm just joined by my brother Tom.
What? What does that mean?
Just a bit of a strange start. Hang on, my hat's looking all messed up. A bit of a strange start to the show, but how's it going? Just a podcast today. We're going to talk about a bunch of things. Great to catch up with my brother Tom. Obviously, he's over from the States. Yeah, I mean, we've got
jet lagged and feeling like shit as well.
Jet lagged, feeling like shit, looking like shit. Basically, our shit. I'm just joking around, that's harsh. Anyway, we're here to talk about, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United. It's been a year on. It's been a year on. Oh!
Good.
Oh, you bastard. It's been a,
Dodgy,
yeah.
that.
It's a dodgy looking beard. I apologise for the beard. Needs some work, definitely. But anyway, a year since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. First of all, how you doing, Tom?
I'm alright.
Let the people know.
Yeah, I've got some cheese and onion crisps, Walkers. I've got some bourbons and custard creams. I'm happy. All of that we don't get in America.
By the way, is it nice? Is it nice that Walkers used a 10-year-old picture of Mariah Carey for their promotional packages? Makes sense.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that haggard woman on there.
You know, well, it's funny. I was just speaking this, and I know this is off topic, but this is how messed up the male psyche is. When you're on an airplane, most people are a little bit scared, right? Because it's unnatural to be in the air like that. It's fucking crazy. And when you get on a plane and you see a really good-looking woman, you immediately feel safer.
Is that true?
Yeah, I do anyway.
I don't know. It depends who they are, to be fair.
It's almost like, you know, like it makes you feel safer because it's like God wouldn't destroy something so beautiful. You know what I mean? So you just feel safer. It's mental. Do you not have that?
Is that the reason why all stewardesses are fit?
Probably.
Because, like, it's a mandatory requirement because it puts people at ease.
It makes a lot of sense, yeah.
That's awesome.
Like
that
attractiveness, like reach vitality, reach, you know, it's true.
You don't want a fit pilot though.
Well,
the pilot came out and just some stunner. No, I want it to be old and very ugly.
Well,
that's what I want my pilot.
A lot of male pilots are attractive.
Oh,
there's a lot of
right, steady on.
Okay. But
I say that.
A lot of the pilots are male, right?
You're shaking the table.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, there was one rule, just one rule, before we got this podcast going. But
okay, no, it's shocking.
But anyway, no, I think there's something to that. There must be a reason because I've been on not that many planes, but in all honesty, most of the time, the stewardesses are, you know, they're pretty decent.
Well,
I think it's mandatory. But anyway, back onto the football then. Let's talk about, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's been at Manchester United exactly 1 year today. He was appointed a year ago today. Lots happened since then. I mean, what do you think about the state of United 1 year on from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's appointment as interim manager? Bit of a question there.
That's a good question. I kind of said it during the live stream last night a little bit, but what I would say is where they'd be if they still had Mourinho right now. And no matter what, I'll tell you this, I wouldn't like the team as much. Even if the team was better now, you wouldn't like the team as much. We were saying this earlier in conversation that a lot of the players are likeable. Rashford, James, Greenwood, Maguire's likeable. Even Lindelof's likeable. Even
a lot of them are, yeah.
It
might not be. Even Jesse Lingard.
Yeah, even Jesse Lingard's likeable.
He might rub some people up the wrong way, but he's a positive sort of a fellow, isn't he?
Fred's likeable. Fred puts in a shift every game, by the way.
Very likeable. And with Tom, he's very likeable.
So instead of like the Sanchez's and Lukaku wasn't likeable, was he? You know, and Matic isn't. You know what I mean? So we're a vibrant, younger team that we're going to be more inconsistent because of that. But he's got to get some experience in there too. But I think he's done a decent job. I think it was an easy job to come into. I think there's a lot of problems behind the scenes still. And I think on the field, he's done... Again, we talked about last night, we don't have that creative midfielder that can unlock defences. And that is a problem where we play against a low block, as they say. And we rely on pace quite a bit, attacking-wise. But that's because we've got young players again.
Yeah.
He's done a solid job. He's out-coached, in particular matches, all the top coaches. We've not lost to Liverpool under him. We've played them twice. We're the only team that picked points from them this year. And he changed the system for that game, and he could have been just brutalised for that, but they did really well. Obviously, he made Mourinho and Guard look like mugs the other week.
He has shown that tactical astuteness just in those games alone. People say, he's inept. Yeah. He's just beaten Guardiola, he's beaten Mourinho, he's got points off Liverpool, the only team to do that.
Yeah.
Those are the hardest games. That's with an inferior side and players that are not as good as the opposition as well. So you've got to give him a lot of credit there. Problem is, I think we are just a bit light in midfield. The personnel in midfield,
very light in midfield.
Creativity-wise, like you said, we don't have that Paul Scholes who can unlock a defence, who's that creator, that maestro for us.
Yeah.
So it immediately causes us problems when we come up against teams that have everyone behind the ball. We can't break them down. We saw it for most of the Colchester game yesterday. Like, it's Colchester, a League Two side. We still struggled to create and break them down for that first 45 minutes until they got tired, basically. So that's what United are doing at the moment. We need to sign. It'd be nice to see something like Maddison or whoever come in. Yeah. But that takes me on to the next one, which I want to talk about, which is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's signings.
Well, let's just stop there. I just want to talk about midfield a little bit more.
Right. Okay.
If you look at the West Ham and Villa games, when our midfielders aren't sit back defending or pressing or doing what they're doing, when we're on the ball, I actually compare us to you don't even want to go near Liverpool, Leicester, Chelsea, any of them teams, because my God, we look light there. But if you even compare us to West Ham and Villa, in midfield we do look a bit light, and we don't have that talismanic person. We always got by with, and teams do get by with Butts and Fletchers. It's not like you need this world-class ball player, but you do need someone in there that can basically manage the game and take hold of the game. So, he was up against it coming in because Mourinho did a piss-poor job in his recruitment. He was awful. I mean, his signings, there was no long-term plan at all. It was just win now. Which, he won the UEFA Cup and he won the Europa League now it's called. And the League Cup, that's fine, and then he came second, but that was it.
We're still dealing with his shit signings.
Still dealing with shit signings. We're still dealing with Van Gaal's shit signings.
Nemanja Matic is still here.
Yeah, Nemanja Matic is dead wood.
Pogba still here.
Pogba's, we'll see. I mean, he's on his last, last legs, I think. Anyway, we're dealing with a lot of crap from Mourinho. Actually, he did a terrible job at Manchester United, and so Solskjaer's coming in. He's steadied the ship. He's, like I said last night as well. We wouldn't have heard of Greenwood. We wouldn't have heard of Williams. We wouldn't have heard of all these players. Tuanzebe would be still out on loan. These kids wouldn't have been on the pitch against Paris Saint-Germain, Yeah,
the only signings we made in the window would not have been James, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire. It would have been some big name.
He probably would have signed Maguire and then it would have been
money.
Exactly.
Maybe would have got Maguire, But James and Wan-Bissaka, I don't really see them being Jose Mourinho signings. That's what Ollie's obviously picked them up. One's for the future, one's that can do it now. That's what I've been impressed with Ole Gunnar, is his ability to highlight a player, find a player, get the player. I mean, Daniel James is a great example. Somebody that literally last year was playing in the Championship. Last year, nobody knew who Daniel James was. Even this year, we signed him for, 15 million. We all thought, you know what, that's a good one for the future. That's a good player to come in, be a squad player, learn, get better. Who knows, in a couple of years' time, he can be a great player. Daniel James is actually our best player this season, pretty much. Him and Wan-Bissaka, the two 21-year-old signings that he's made. So people like to criticise Ollie, but with the limited amount of time he's had, with the funds that he's spent, and the players he's been allowed to bring in, Maguire, James, Wan-Bissaka, I mean, those are three inspirational signings, really. I know we've not seen the best from Maguire yet, but the other two, proper inspirational. If he can get the same sort of calibre signings in January, I know there's talk of Maddison, which is probably not realistic with how good Leicester are doing, but some of the other younger players, Grealish is another player that people like to talk about. Those sorts of players fit into that mould and will improve and get better and better and better. And he seems to be building something at United here with this ethos of selecting young players. We've got the youngest squad in the league. Greenwood, 18. Rashford, 22. Wan-Bissaka, James, 21. Who else is there? Brandon Williams is another player that we didn't see before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, basically. He's given him this opportunity. He's found a little gem there. That's brilliant. I think he deserves so much credit. And also, I know Mourinho had a lot to do with McTominay. But if you look at how McTominay's progressed under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think his actual coaching, or the coaching staff that he's got there, Fiend and Carrick, they do seem to be progressing these players quite well. Because all of a sudden, McTominay's come from this raw player who looks good to actually being like literally bossing people like Kevin De Bruyne off the park in games and stuff like that. Just really putting in great performances and looking like a great player. So he deserves credit for how he's managed the squad, the players that he signed, how he's the development process of the squad. Solskjaer, okay, it could be better, but it's actually, in my opinion, it is satisfactory.
I mean, satisfactory job. Transfer window, I've heard people say that, we need to sign 5-6 players because it's always 2 or 3 don't work out, 5 or 6, half the signings don't work out. Historically, it's hard to argue with them, but I think Maguire, he's captain now, basically, isn't he? and he's a well, he is.
He will. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Ashley Young is technically.
Well, Ashley doesn't get in the team on our strongest days, so he's Maguire's.
Well, I mean, I wish that wasn't true, but Solskjaer does still play Ashley Young in a lot of the big games. And he's captain. But
to be fair, he did do well against City.
But if Young's not playing, Maguire's pretty much the captain, isn't he? So, and he will be once Young's gone at the end of the season. Maguire's going to be the proper captain, you'd imagine. Right. So,
then Wan-Bissaka is best one versus one defender I've ever seen in my life. He's maybe he can do more on the ball, but at the same time, it's like give it to the players that can do stuff on the ball. He's unbelievable, really. And then, sorry, I'm getting a phone call in here. It distracted me.
No problemo, sir. Do you need to take it?
I might need to take it, yeah.
Okay, that's all right. Well, just be quick, and then I'll have to edit it out.
Okay. I'll be back.
Okay, how long are you going to be? Because it's one recording.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing? It won't let me see it. It won't let me see anything.
It says your camera's off.
Oh, don't know why.
What are you doing?
I was just chatting with Joe.
Okay. I just wanted to check in with you and see what you thought. Your stuff. See what you thought and if I should keep that.
How you doing? Bye. Yeah. I don't know. Well, my phone's gonna die though. Can I call you back tonight? Hello? Hi. Hi. Oh, hello. So frustrating.
It's alright, let's just do another 5-10 minutes and then what I have to do.
Huh?
Let's do another 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay. You still on?
I'm going to have to edit the shit out of this now. So
yeah, that's okay.
It sucks.
Deal with it. Oh.
That's a bit of a monster.
It is, isn't it? You're talking too much as well, just saying that.
No.
Let me talk.
You're definitely talking loads. It's a conversation, it's not a
Don't
monologue.
Don't interrupt me.
No.
All right.
Thing is, the problem is, Tom, if I don't interrupt you, just keep going waffling.
That's okay.
You don't. There's no stop. If you stopped and let me speak, I would then speak. But because you don't, I have to cut in.
Okay.
Anyway, what are we doing? What is this?
This is nicotine gum.
Okay.
All right, we're back on. Sorry about that.
Right, we're back on now, guys. Just Tom had to take a personal call there, so thanks very much for stopping by the way, on the show today. Obviously, a bit of an impromptu show. My brother's back for a few days. It's Christmas time. That's why I'm wearing this little get-up. You guys know I wear this pretty much all throughout the year anyway. So I've only got about 4 jumpers. But Tom's wearing one of my jumpers right now, actually, which I accidentally left in America about 4 years ago.
5 years ago.
5 years ago. And he's just brought it back now. He's got the audacity to wear it in front of me.
5.5 years ago.
I'm definitely having that back.
I don't want to be a prick here, mate.
I'm definitely having it back. It's legally mine.
Yeah, I don't want to be a knob, mate, but when you brought us to the States in 2014, the summer of 2014, you're a little bit leaner. And I don't
think it was
see
still
this
fit
fitting
me.
you. No.
Do you know what? I don't even care if it doesn't fit me, to be honest, mate. The only way I would not going to want that is if I put it on and I'm literally like bursting out of it, like Michelin Man standards. What are you doing? What are you doing right now?
I'm taking it off.
Okay.
Oh,
You got your gut out there. Nice one.
Oh, it's not too bad.
It's not great.
Right, try on.
Mate, I've got my jumper on now. It's too
take
hot.
the jumper off.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
But now I'm freaking going to look like an absolute mess up.
Like you didn't already?
Hold on a second. I want to get my belly out on there, that's for sure. Okay, hold on. Just as I thought, it fits absolutely spot on. You know why? Because it's my jumper.
What is that? What is that anyway? Looks like some kind of... I don't know. Does it fit okay?
It doesn't fit as good as the other one, to be fair. But you know what? It could be worse. Anyway, there's not many podcasts you see where the guests swap clothes with the...
Could it be worse? Oh, got the guns on show.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, I would say that Solskjaer has done a reasonable job. Here's the thing. With blooding in the youth, with his transfer policy, it's going to take a bit of time. We need a bit of patience. If United finish, as long as United don't get relegated this year, he still needs time. Okay? If we get to a year from now, and we're not challenging for the top 4, then yeah, then it didn't work. And the beautiful thing about him, he cares about the club. He's probably laid down the foundations for the next person to come in that will be pretty decent. Whereas Mourinho obviously shit the bed. So yeah, I mean, he needs 2 more transfer windows, but that transfer window is an A+. Okay, his performance as coach so far, maybe it's a B. You know, we're still in the top 4 conversation, and I honestly think we'll win the cup. Like I said last night, if we finish 9th and win a cup, that's a good season right now with the young players. But next season, he's got to get more stability to the team.
Yeah.
There's still some deadwood to get rid of, and that's what he's doing. And then this time next year, we need to be sat here and expecting to finish top 4. But you give him till this time next year. 2 more transfer windows.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't judge him on 1 year in the job, especially with the situation we were in when he took over, especially when you consider as well, like Mourinho came and spent like 350 million, maybe even more, on players. Solskjaer's not had that. He's actually, if you look at the star players we've had, Alexis Sanchez, Lukaku and Herrera also left in the summer, but Lukaku and Sanchez in particular, getting rid of that expensive deadwood that's just costing us money and actually not provide anything to the team. So that was a star signing by Jose. Solskjaer's not had a star signing yet. Okay, Harry Maguire actually is a star signing, to be fair. But he's not actually had like the same level of signings. He's not been allowed that money. He's not even been able to get those sorts of players with that same reputation. Like obviously Zlatan was signed by Jose, which is one of the best signings over the last decade. But other than that,
which is depressing.
All of this other signings,
which is depressing, yeah. Because he did well, don't get me wrong, Zlatan, but Zlatan was the signing you make when there's a missing piece to the puzzle. Just kind of like Henrik Larsson. Remember when we signed Larsson for half a season loan? That was perfect. Ronaldo and Rooney were young. They learnt from him. Someone got injured at that time. We got him for half a season. He was absolutely fantastic. Zlatan was the missing piece, but he wasn't the missing piece because there was so much more. That was a really bad signing. But again, it became the win-now mentality, but he didn't have the pieces to win.
You think Zlatan was a bad signing, did you say?
Yeah, no.
Bad in the
I
terms
said
of
it's depressing that's I agree that's our best signing. I agree you can't call that a bad signing because he did very well.
For a free signing, it was inspired.
Exactly. but it's still a bad.
It's a paper over the crack sign.
Yes,
is that what you mean?
that is exactly my point. It's paper over the crack signs, which he shouldn't have made actually, because really it stopped Rashford getting. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff there. That wasn't a future signing, and Mourinho was not going to turn that team around to Premier League winners no matter what. So it was, in hindsight, Zlatan was a beast. Don't get me wrong. I almost would take him now with the young kids around him, to be honest with you. I mean, but then you have
that's what
you're holding people back. Yeah,
halting progression.
Yeah,
halting progression of Rashford, Martial, these sorts of guys. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that has been the case. I think that's another reason why Solskjaer's done very well with these players, because he doesn't have really the big option, the big name there. That's why maybe you've seen McTominay burst through this season, or you've seen him give opportunities to players like Garner a little bit, Gomez a little bit, Greenwood, because we don't actually have. If Alexis Sanchez was still here, it's like just on reputation and what he's being paid, you sort of have to give him the nod and play above somebody like Greenwood. If you're taking form out of it, because of the name. If Jose was still here, with Alexis Sanchez still here, he'd probably be playing Alexis Sanchez right 100%. Now. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
That is what is bad about.
If Jose was still here, Greenwood probably wouldn't have had any minutes. He wouldn't have had any goals. Now he looks like a real future star. Rashford wouldn't be as good. Martial would still be out on the left. And
one thing that's
Martial wouldn't be at Manchester United right now if Mourinho was still here.
Right.
Like I said, I think Solskjaer's done a really good job. And by the way, just on that point, don't forget Greenwood put in a late challenge on Sanchez in training in pre-season. That's well documented. That happened.
Right.
Sanchez acted like a baby. Had a go at Greenwood. Greenwood's 18. Sanchez is 31. That's significant.
He was 17 back then, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's put in a late challenge. It may have been a late challenge, yeah, but apparently he threw his toys out his pram. Solskjaer sided with the kid. Solskjaer sided with the kid that was getting paid. What was he on? I think he signed a new contract. I think he was on a YTS.
Still probably shitloads though.
Well, probably his fame, but no, I mean, but Sanchez was getting paid what, 500,000 a week. Something sick, disgusting sick, not good sick.
Yeah.
So Solskjaer will do whatever is good for Man United. So the worst case scenario is we get a year from now, and then we realise, he's not the guy to take us forward. We'll get someone in, but that person that comes in hopefully is the right person and also has a great foundation to work with. That's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I think we both like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a person. I know I don't know him well, but
seems like a nice bloke.
Seems like a bloody nice
bloke. Seems like he truly loves United as well. He's respecting this job like for what it actually is, which is an opportunity to manage the greatest club in the world in his eyes and in our eyes. You've just got to stick behind him at the moment. He's not had enough time. Like people say, he's crap and he's not learning and his substitutions rubbish and all this. You've got to give him a bit of a chance. Firstly, you've got to allow him to build his team. He's still dealing with deadwood from the years gone by. We've still got Phil Jones knocking around the gaff. We've still got Matic, all these guys around. These are not his signings. These are deadwood. These are people in the dressing room. Maybe he doesn't want these personalities in the dressing room. We're seeing this stuff with Paul Pogba at the moment. And Paul Pogba's a great player on his day. You're talking World Cup winner here, Juventus, absolutely fantastic. But he's just a bit inconsistent for United. If you think about him at United, it's just...
Pogba gets far too much credit, by the way, for that World Cup win.
Yes.
Everyone always points to the World Cup winner. Everyone always points to the dad by the trophy. Watching France's games in the World Cup, in the final he did play well, but he was in and out, and that was his best game. Against Belgium, he was gone missing. The only job he did was he defended quite well, which is ironic, right? And everyone always talks about Juventus and saying how brilliant he was there. How many people watch Serie A? How many people watch all this game with you?
Apparently Chris Smalling's a great defender in Serie A.
Exactly. But my point is that he gets far too much credit for the World Cup win. Yes, there is a real world-class player there, I'm not saying. Has he ever done it consistently? No, he's never done it. At Juventus? No, he didn't do it at Juventus either. And he was also in a team at Juventus where he had players around him and with France where if he wasn't performing to the highest level, he could get away with it. But with Manchester United's team with our mediocre midfield at best, you're expecting someone that you spend that money on to step up and do stuff, and that's why Ferguson got rid of him, and that's why he probably won't be around next year. As much as I'd love him to turn the corner and be brilliant for us,
he's got all the abilities, but like you say, it's almost like a character flaw with Paul Pogba. There's just some problem. You see him sometimes not tracking back. You see him sometimes heads gone, heads down. He's not up for it today. He's turned up. He's tried. It's not gone right for him for 10 minutes, so he can't be asked for the rest of it. You see that with Paul Pogba a lot more. Like you never see McTominay do that. He's fighting to the bitter end. Might not have a great game, but either way, he's fighting to the bitter end for United. Paul Pogba maybe played in his preferred position for United if he does come back. and he isn't sold, might actually be the missing piece for United this season. Because look, Fred and McTominay, they built up this little bit of a partnership there. I've never liked Paul Pogba back there in that position. Don't think he's got any defensive, much defensive ability, or he doesn't like defending. He likes to create, he likes to be in there, he likes to be having shots and threading teammates through and all that sort of stuff. So in front of those two players is a great place for Paul Pogba. And who we got there now? You know, Jesse Lingard is one of these players that keeps being played there. Gomez, Chong, young talents. But if there is a position where somebody's, you know, we could do with some real experienced quality player, it's that position, and it would be Paul Pogba. Well, we've seen him there previously when Ollie first came in. There was 10, 11 games where Paul Pogba was absolutely incredible there. So I still think he can do it. But at this moment, I think with the illness being announced this week, the fact that he's not playing against Colchester, it's 10, 11 days. It's 10, 11 days until the window opens. He was dancing at his brother's wedding, like you say. I think there's some sort of behind-the-scenes deal already done for him to go out of the club. And it would make a lot of sense because he's on big money. United seem to be doing things a bit differently. We're sort of cutting the old purse strings a little bit, tightening the purse strings. We're looking for different types of players at the moment, you know. And he can generate a lot of cash and give Ollie the ability to sign 2 or 3 quality young talents. You know, that's the difference. And get somebody who's off, you know, $350 a week or whatever he's on.
Yeah, just so I'll say on that, I'll kind of work backwards there as well. I don't think we're tightening the purse strings. I think we're just getting structured to our wage bill, which you need, because that was all out of whack. And
Jose fucked that all up for us, and Woodward, obviously.
And Woodward fucked it all up, Excuse me, God. Secondly, yes, Pogba in the number 10 role, but I said this again last night. I don't think you can play Pogba against teams that will have more possession than Man United in that number 10 role. The reason being, and the reason why Lingard looks good against the better teams and Pereira does well against the better teams, that player needs to be the second defender a lot, and needs to cover a lot of ground, and a lot of diagonal pressing we do when we're pressing. That player needs to be really good at that. Lingard's fantastic off the ball. No one can knock Jesse Lingard when we don't have the ball. His pressing, his movement is very smart. He's very good. Just on the ball. He's
just with the ball.
Yeah. I mean,
with the ball, he's shy.
That's the thing. So the problem is then you've got, so against 6 teams out of the league, you don't want Pogba there. Okay? Because I honestly think that would be detrimental. And then against the low block teams, you really need him. Right? But then what do you do? So do you not play him with any of the big games? Well, that's a bit weird. So then you put him back in Fred and McTominay's position, which just weakens us there because he's not as good there. Yeah, he can play that kind of quarterback role at times. He's good at that, don't get me wrong. But I'm sure, but Solskjaer's smart. He realised that. That's why he started to drop him back, because he knew against when he was pressing high and doing that he hurts the team.
Right.
I just don't think he'll be at Manchester United much longer, unfortunately. I'd love him to do well because he is a bit he's kind of likeable in a very unlikable way. But
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. He's there's something about him. He's sort of like the Premier League's John Jones. Do you know what I mean? Like, with the drug testing aside.
Yes.
That's what he sort of reminds me of. Like, I don't know, just a bit of he's a jovial character. He might rub some people out the wrong way. Got a bit of an attitude.
He's funny. I think he's funny.
He's a funny lad. Yeah, he's you know, he's an interesting fellow, 100%. I've got nothing against him as an individual. In fact, he seemed quite like a nice guy. If you were in the same team as him, you'd love to be mates with Paul Pogba. But it's what he actually does for the side. It's sometimes he does let his head go, and I don't like to see that from a United player.
Apparently, he's very good off the field. Like you know, when you saw the pictures of him and Mourinho kind of bickering last year. But apparently, he is very, very good for team spirit, morale, and he's good about the place. That's what I've never heard anything different other than what Mourinho was saying about him. But like I said, Mourinho lost the. Mourinho made a lot of.
Mourinho's a volatile character. How many people has he fallen out in football with?
He made a lot of poor decisions.
Everyone hates him.
He really. No, to be fair as well, he's coming to Tottenham and he's coming into Tottenham with the attitude I wish he would have come into Manchester United with, because I said the problem is Manchester United is it's got such historical value. It's an institution, and he came in and it was like, I'm going to do things my way. It was like, you can't do that at Man United. You know, there has to be that attack. Like, Solskjaer understands that. Ferguson understood that. Obviously, Busby, you know, there's too much with it. You can't come in and be defensive and be boring and then sign these players to win now next week and not worry about the academy and stuff like that. You just can't do that. It's against the culture. It's a cultural thing. So he seems to have gone into Spurs and kind of said, you know, I'm not going to change too much. So great. I wish he would have done a bit more like that. But he made a lot. He did a very poor job at Manchester United. We're talking about one of the winningest.
Long term, yeah. I mean, in the first season he did a Mickey Mouse show. We did about as good as he could have asked. Second season we played drab football, but he still got a second.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, long term, there's no future plan with Jose. It's now or never, basically.
Which is a shame, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame. And with Ollie, what you have to understand is he's not had the same tools as... The funny thing is, Mourinho's gone into Spurs now. He's got no excuse. He said it himself. He's got the squad there. He's got excellent players in all the positions. Physical players that he would like to play with. Like, he's set there. You have to prove himself at Spurs now. But at United, he didn't have that. He's tried to do quick fixes. We've spent loads of money. Sanchez, Lukaku, get these big players that he wanted. And it's not worked out. It's left us in a bad state, a worse situation than we were in before he took over, which is often the case with Jose Mourinho's sides. And now we've got a manager, Ollie, who's not got the experience, but he's had a year in the job. He's had a limited budget. He's only had, one transfer window, actually. So, properly, anyway, as permanent manager. So, it's like you've got to cut him slack. He can't prove himself in 1 year with the squad we had without spending £500 million.
Right.
Fair enough, you get a big name, he signs all these big name players. We can't attract those players at the moment anyway. So we have to do it a different way. And I think if you take all those things into consideration, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 1 year in the job today, he's actually doing quite a good job. Yeah. That's it. That's my overriding feeling of it.
Well, so here's the thing. With Mourinho, you always thought that he was, at the end there, for the last year, it was 2 games away from a crisis. And Solskjaer was about a game away from a crisis a few weeks ago.
He was.
He's bought himself some time. Won the semi-finals of the League Cup. We seem to be more consistency, even though they're going to be inconsistent, and they will be inconsistent. But I think that Solskjaer's bought himself some time right now, and I think that he'll use that well. I really do think he's going to be a success at Manchester United.
I do. I want him to be more than anyone else. And like we were talking about, we're so invested in this United side because they're young, because they're nice guys, because they're nice kids, because we've got Ollie, the nicest guy, in charge. We're a really nice team at the moment. I mean, niceness doesn't win you anything.
I didn't like the team 2 years ago.
No,
I did not like them.
I didn't like it either.
It wasn't Manchester United.
Mercenaries. No. We had mercenaries. We didn't have any hungry young players.
No, and you could tell it was mercenaries. You could have had any kit on. What about? And here's the advantage we've got over City. And I was thinking about this last night, actually. Here's the big advantage we've got moving forward over City. They're ageing. Okay? They're an ageing team. Can you name a City player that bleeds Manchester City blue? Just name one.
Sergio Aguero.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Why doesn't that count?
He's been there a long time, and I get it.
I'd imagine he bleed, I'd imagine. So I know Vincent Kompany did as well. He's not there now.
Yeah.
That generation of players, yes, but right now, I mean, I don't really think Gabriel Jesus up top there is bleeding for Man City out there.
You just look at Rashford, you look at Wan-Bissaka, you look at James, you look at Greenwood, you look at McTominay, you look at De Gea. You could, if you're going to go about bleeding something, you can compare De Gea and Aguero. I still think they'd be off of the, you know what I mean? But I'm just telling you, Man United have got a lot of people in their dressing room that it fucking hurts when they lose.
Yeah.
Whereas we didn't have that 2 years ago. You just knew that they weren't that bothered. It's kind of like watching England in the 2000s. That was the sick thing about it. I really enjoyed watching England in the World Cup, and it was like, this is like the complete opposite of what it used to be. You used to have all these prima donnas playing for England that it seemed like they didn't care anyway.
Right.
And for Man United, you had the beasts, and it's completely opposite. It was funny, it was interesting, So do you think Luke Shaw has a future at Man United?
I think he's got a future at United. I think Solskjaer rates him. I think he's a useful player to have. But if you ask me who I think's our long-term left back, I don't think it is Luke Shaw. I think it's Brandon Williams. I think he looks a better player. He looks definitely better going forward and defensively, actually, if we're being totally honest. But Luke Shaw,
it's not hard to be defensively better.
No, exactly.
His positioning, his concentration is so bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually good going forward. But Brandon Williams seems to be just as good going forward, yet he can also defend very, very well. And he just seems to have a bit more character than Luke Shaw. This is the one thing, I mean, I know it doesn't really mean anything, but Lukaku, when he left United, he basically leaked the training report from the United training session, which had Luke Shaw as the lowest clock speed in training for running, right? And you're thinking, he's actually one of the quickest. He's actually one of the quickest players. So why is he not putting in the effort in training? And I know that's only one indicator, but stuff like that. And sometimes Mourinho, when he first came in, he was absolutely mortified with how Luke Shaw was He was on the sideline screaming at him. After one game, he said to him, "I've got to stand on the sidelines. I've got to shout him because he doesn't know where to be on the pitch." So, in terms of intelligence, in terms of real determination, I think Brandon Williams is already leagues ahead. But it's easy to say that. He's only played 6 or 7 games in the first thing. But yeah, I think he's got a future. But it's down to Luke Shaw. Does he want to be part of something special? Does he want to be a bit part? Utility player, if you like,
it's
or does he want? You could play him as a winger as well. Like you could have Brandon Williams left back. You could have Luke Shaw left wing in certain situations. It's still going to be quite creative.
Yeah.
So
well, for the England team, just to space this out for Luke Shaw. Right now, we've got such talents in our fullbacks in the England team. If you look at the right, we've got Carl Walker, who's not even getting a look in Wan-Bissaka, TAA. There's someone else I'm forgetting too. On the left there, you've got the lad from Leicester. I can't think of his name. Great little player. Looks good. The left back at Leicester, anyway. And then you've got Luke Shaw, and then you've got Danny Rose, who's not really getting a game for Tottenham. So, but a lot of talent there. You've got a lot of talent. So he could make that position his own if he
why
lives up to the
think of who that left back for Leicester is. He literally, we were on about signing him at United a little while ago.
Oh, yeah.
He's a quality player. It's gone completely out of my head.
No, I know.
He got 2 assists the other day.
He's a really good player.
Fantastic, yeah. It's just gone completely out of my head.
Completely out of my head too. But my point is that Luke Shaw, if he gets a run of games, which is hard because he's always injured, if he gets a run of games, he could be the England left back going into the Euros next year, which is big for a player. It should be big for a player. It really should. There's no greater honour than representing your country.
Leicester's left back's definitely better though. He's better than Luke Shaw. That's the thing. We can't think of his name right now. He's definitely better than Luke Shaw. What is his name? Anyway, somebody will tell us in the comment section. Obviously, they'll say it's a disgrace that you don't know.
That is a disgrace.
But it's just like a complete brain freeze at the moment. Do you know what I mean? He's a fucking good player.
I'm going through the alphabet as well, and I can't figure it. Yeah.
Alright, let's play the game. See who gets it first. Let's just think. Just use your brain. Use your brain here.
I know that's a challenge. What is his fucking name? Is his first name? Anyway.
No, we need to get this now. As a point of principle, we have to get this now. Don't worry, I'll cut the long pause out. I know this is what Google's for. No, it's just like, we know this. We know who this player is.
Well, of course we do. Man United were on about signing. We're not going to sign him, by the way. I think that would be a bad move to spend a lot of money when you got Williams and Shaw and you got some depth in that position. I think our defence is pretty good right now. I think Bailly could be a beast as well. I've always said that, if he can stay fit. But I think that Tuanzebe and Maguire partnership looks like it could be the long-term one. Like I said, if you're going to play with De Gea, you've got the best shot stopper in the world, but you don't have that command of the box. You need 2 centre-backs that are good in the air. Lindelof is poor in the air. Lindelof can play with a back three, no problem, all day. Bailly is poor in the air too. Well, that's unfair because I've not seen that much with me. He looks great.
Bailly's good in the air, but he's just not fit enough. That's the problem with Bailly. Right? He's a beast in the air, actually. When you see him and he's fit and he's playing, he does well. He's a good defender. He really, really is. But he's never fit, and it's a big problem.
What's his fucking name?
It almost came to me.
Left back.
It almost just came to me. It's Chilwell.
Ben.
Yes. Ben Chilwell.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. He's a very good player. I think he's actually probably England's best left back.
I think we're forgetting fullback. Clearly, our memories aren't good today, but we're forgetting a couple too. But my point is that Luke Shaw, yeah, you can say he's better than him, but Luke Shaw's got more experience, and I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, it's a shame with Luke Shaw. I mean, there was a period in time I honestly did think he's going to be like England's left back for the next decade, and United, of course. But
I don't think he
got that injury, got that leg break.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just don't think he's up to it. I think there's better players out there, more hungry players, more determined players, more United style characters, which is another thing that has improved a lot since Ollie's come in. Because we used to have these characters, they're not really United type characters. Now we've got, real likeable players, real talismanic players, people even like Rashford now starting to show that he can step up to the mantle.
Seems like they're busting a lung every time we
play. McTominay is obviously a player that's massively improved.
Apart from Martial.
Apart from Martial. I mean, do you think he's got a future at United?
I think he's, yes, if. Yeah. He's a hard one because he is so good some games and you think, oh my god, this is a real player. And then some games he goes missing, but at the same time he needs service if he's going to play striker. But he's never going to be that player that looks like he's dying for the cause. But again, neither was Berbatov, neither was these kind of players. I just think that he would come back to bite us because he could end up a world beater. But you know, having said that, if you tell me who would you pick right now, Rashford or Martial? You'd absolutely pick Rashford. Rashford's got 14 goals already this season in all competitions. That's his best season, and it's not even Christmas.
He's been doing fantastically well recently.
And he's going to keep doing it. He's going to keep getting better and better and better. You can see that his physique has changed. He's adding stuff to his game. His movement has always been top class. It really has. But he's adding a lot to his game. His finishing is still hit and miss.
Very much so,
but he'll improve on that too.
But if he's going to be that wide wing player, his finishing doesn't have to be as clinical as these number 9s that are supposed to be the goal scorers. He's sort of playing that wide position, that young Cristiano Ronaldo role is what you want, where he can take it down the wing, get balls in, but also he does have great ability to beat a man, cut inside, shoot from distance, score goals, wreak havoc, all that sort of stuff. He does at the moment. I mean, it's obviously people like to make these comparisons. But he does look like a young Ronaldo. Yep. It's a similar sort of style. If you think about, we were talking about what Ronaldo was like when he was 19, 20, 21. Yes. He was a lot more of a selfish player. He was a lot less effective. His final product wasn't as good.
Didn't have an end product.
No, didn't have an end product.
Not the first couple of seasons.
Chicken. So.
And then he turned the corner and really, but it was always there. You could see it was there, and you can see it is with Rashford. And that assist, that ball by Mata was beautiful, and that assist across the box to Martial last night was really good. It was top class. I don't care who we're playing against, it was top class.
Exactly. We like to forget that he's still such a young player 22. Because he's played so many games already for United. He's played a lot of games and scored a bunch of goals, but he's still only young. Like, you have to be happy with his progression. You have to be happy with we've got the youngest squad in the league. So what are we expecting? We're expecting Ollie with the youngest squad in the league and not the strongest squad in the league to really challenge for anything for a couple of years. I don't think we should be. Just to clarify, I just don't think we should be really expecting to win anything over the next couple of years. I think League Cup, something like that would be fantastic. Building, progressing. We don't want to be going backwards. But I don't see United challenging for the Premier League trophy.
No. For
2-3 seasons, and that's if everything goes right. That's if Ollie proves himself to be a great manager. That's if he makes a few more key great signings which develop. That's if the players he's got now continue to develop and progress as they are. Lots of this. That's if everything goes right. That's how far Liverpool are ahead. That's how far the likes of City are ahead. So I think he's got his work cut out for him. And with all those things considered, I expect us to get much better over the next couple of seasons with the squad we got.
I'm not expecting us to win anything this season, but I am expecting us to actually challenge for a cup this season. I see us in a final, even if it's not the League Cup. I see us in a final of a cup, and I see us challenging.
Win the League Cups against City in the semis.
I think the 2 legs doesn't favour us. I think if it was 1 leg, one-off game, I just think that they might suffocate us enough the way they play. Having said that, if we get a goal up in either one of those games, or we get a goal up at some point, they have to. They can panic and we can catch them on the break. That's been shown. I don't think he can fix that.
Yeah, they've been a little bit more ropey this season.
Not with his players. Well, he's lost one player, Laporte, and that's really hurt him. But at the same time,
Aguero's out, so.
If Liverpool played, I didn't watch the game, but I read about it last night. Obviously, I was travelling, but Van Dijk was ill, and apparently it did not look good for them. And that Mexican team is bang average.
Right, yeah, Monterrey.
That Mexican team struggled.
Nice cheese though.
No, yeah,
Monterrey Jack.
But that Mexican team. So when they play Flamengo, if they don't have Van Dijk back, they might struggle. But yeah, if you take Van Dijk out of Liverpool, have they won? Have they only drawn 1 game and won 7? What have they won? No, they would have lost a few games, guarantee it.
Yeah,
he's that big player. And Laporte at City was huge too, and they've not replaced him. He doesn't trust Stones. Stones has been so disappointing to me, because when I first saw him, he came on, he looked so smart. Everyone was talking next Bobby Moore, but he's not progressed that way at all. And I don't think he's going to get in the England team. I think you're going to play. Maguire's the #1 centre back, obviously now, and then it's who's going to play with him. And he's tried the lad from Villa. What's his name? Let's not play this. Okay.
But just
Mings has been good.
Right, yeah.
And he's put in Tawarski, is it, from Burnley? Anyway, my point is, yeah.
But just to go back to your point and what we're talking about there about the League Cup and winning something, I think if we don't win anything, it shouldn't really mean too much at the moment because we're rebuilding. But we are that type of a side where over the course of a season we're not going to do great in the league because we see that we can turn up for individual games. City, Spurs, Liverpool turn up for these individual games, but then when we coming up against Everton's or your West Ham's or whoever, we're just not that consistent enough. We have to be fired up. Teams have to be motivated. Also, the style, it benefits us going up against these high possession teams who are coming at us, as opposed to teams that sit behind the ball at the moment because we don't have the creativity. But for a cup run, just to be able to string a couple of good results together and get the team all motivated and get the tactics right against these big teams in the latter parts of the competition, that is where we could actually do something. So I actually do. I'm saying it's not bad if we don't, but over the next couple of seasons, I expect us to pick up a trophy.
I do too, and you got to factor in it as well. Liverpool and City are playing for Champions League and Premier League.
Yeah.
If City can get somewhat closer to Liverpool by January, which could happen because Liverpool have so many games, he's going to rest players against Manchester United. He just will. Plus, I mean, so you come up against that in the FA Cup, that will be the same too. So as long as we can beat the teams we should beat, I see us winning against the bigger teams. We've shown how we can be just devastating on the counter attack, and I think if we play Tottenham, Liverpool, we'll beat all the big teams. So I think in one-off games, not every game, exactly, not every game, but I see us going far in the cup. I really do. It might be the League Cup. We win the League Cup. If Solskjaer wins the cup this year, Pochettino never won a cup at Spurs. Pochettino had a much better situation with the players he had and the players he brought in. He had time as well, you know what I mean? So, and Solskjaer, what you said earlier about, I couldn't disagree more when people say he's tactically inept. He can read the game. You can see that he can read the game. As a player, you can see it, and I know that's easy to say because he's not a player, he's a coach, but he can read the game. And he's got against Klopp. He's not been embarrassed by any of the big boys. Actually, he's turned them over.
Yeah.
So I think the future's bright with him. I really do, and he's a thoroughly bloody nice guy as well. So
he is. Yeah, what a nice bloke. It'd be nice if people just got off his back a little bit as well. Like
he's Man United manager now.
It's true. I mean, even back in the day, there's lots of people who didn't like Alex Ferguson.
He lost a few games. They used to say, "I think it's time for a change."
And that's the funny thing. It's true. That's the funny thing about football fans and how fickle they are.
Yeah.
Like a couple of weeks ago, let's say Solskjaer lost that Spurs game and lost that City game. I don't know if he'd still be in the job right now.
No.
Because the fan backlash would have been intense, right? But you have to remember, Alex Ferguson, when he came in, different time, took him a long time. But even at our peak, there was still a couple of bad performances here and there, you know, whether it's your York Cities in the League Cup losing 4-0, whether it's your Man Cities coming to Old Trafford smashing us 6-1. There's always bad results and bad performances in there. So when we do go to, have a team like Everton come to Old Trafford and we draw 1-1 against them, which, by the way, a couple of seasons ago, Everton, a point against them is not the worst result in the world. This season, they're down there.
Right.
But just the fact that we've slipped up against Everton, but got one over on City, got one over on Spurs, you've got to give people a break. Like, there's people calling for him out after that Everton slip-up, which I was very disappointed we slipped up after, especially after beating City and Spurs. But like you say, maybe we don't have the tools right now to unlock defences, and that's why we're struggling when we come up against these low block teams.
Well, there's a lot more social media now as well, but I remember Ferguson when he was struggling, when he didn't have a goalkeeper after Schmeichel, with Barthez and Bosnich and Carroll.
God, yeah.
Before Van der
Dark
Sar.
days.
And
Dark days.
He still won championships with them because he's the best ever. But,
those were some shit keepers we had back then. Who else did we have? Tim Howard was actually decent, but he still wasn't like a Van der Sar or a Schmeichel, nowhere near, no. That was a funny period because we tried loads of different keepers.
And then Chelsea went ahead. I think one year he finished third as well. And people were saying, it's time for him to move on now. We need fresh ideas, this and that and that and this. That seems ridiculous now. So he's manager of Man United. Football's a funny game. Guardiola's under pressure now.
Yeah.
Poch
got sacked after a few months after being in the Champions League final.
2 months ago, Guardiola's untouchable. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, he's having his worst season ever. As far as the league goes, He's finished. The team's aging. It doesn't look good. They're not going to buy anyone in January. The title is pretty much gone for them already. I mean, you never know because they can reel off games. I still think they're a bloody good team, especially if they get
Aguero back and Laporte back. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and if Liverpool get a couple of Liverpool's got a couple of games. It's not over yet, and Liverpool are the definition of melters.
Pure melters. Yeah.
I mean,
Merseyside bombing company.
Liverpool have been a cup team for 3 decades now, right? They've won 2 Champions Leagues, but they've been a cup team for 3 decades now because a one-off game is different, especially when you're the underdogs. but when you get to squeaky bum time, they always melt.
Yeah.
So, and they've got that history now. I still think they're going to win the league. I
Their
think
squad's
clubs,
too good. Even when they're playing badly, they're winning.
Exactly.
I watched that Crystal Palace game a couple of weeks ago. Palace were the better team by far. Liverpool still won.
They're starting to wait.
So,
they're finding a way to win.
Yeah.
You only play, again, about a third of the games you play in a league, you play well. But if you've got the best team and you can grind out results, that's what wins the league.
Yeah.
But we'll see, though. It's not over.
It's not over
Leicester City won't challenge, though. They're a good team, Leicester. They are.
They seem to be having another special season, like where just things are firing. They've got these great partnerships in the team. They've got great talents in the team. Vardy almost equalled his record again, didn't he?
Yeah.
The most consecutive goals in the top flight. I think
Vardy's
he got 9 in a row.
record,
9 goals in a row. It's just
they've got a proper team there.
They've
really
got a proper team. Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's a sad day when you look at Leicester City's team and you look at United's team, and most of the team, if you were making a best of the both teams, most of the players would be Leicester City players. That is the sad fact at the moment. And it shows because they're second in the league, they're doing much better. So, it's a difficult one. But, I think the future's bright for Ollie. I think the future's bright for Man United's youngsters. If we can get a couple of key signings in January, whether it's a Bruno Fernandes or a Christian Eriksen or a Maddison or a Grealish, or I don't know. Haaland, there's a lot of talk about.
Would you really take Eriksen?
I mean, in all honesty, I would take Eriksen.
That's a Mourinho signing.
It is a Mourinho signing, yeah. But
that's a short term. It isn't going to win us league. Isn't going to do anything really. It's just going to.
He's only 28, 29 though, and he's proven in the Premier League. He is a creator. He does have the ability. Great set pieces. He's a great player. But I agree with you though. I do think
Song Chun-Min. God, that's a player.
That would never happen, yeah. But
no, he's a real player. But he doesn't get enough credit.
He's amazing, yeah. He's actually my favourite player who doesn't play for United. Yeah. Easily. He's fantastic, just the way that he plays and how he goes about it.
Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit. He's a fantastic footballer.
So, January, just to end this video on then, January...
We're ending the video already?
Well, yeah.
Why are we ending the video?
Because we've been going 51 minutes and I've got to edit it all up because we had a break and stuff, so it's going to take ages. But anyway, so just to end this video then, who would you personally like to see Manchester United realistically bringing in January, and who would you like to see go?
Matic is Deadwood. Matic is to go.
Phil Jones?
Ideally, Phil Jones would go. I don't think he will in January. Ideally, Phil Jones would go. Ashley Young's on his last season. Mata should be probably on his last season. I know we gave him new contracts and stuff, but again, that may just be so we can sell him on. Who would I like us to buy? I'd like us to buy Haaland for some depth, and he looks like a real player. And I'd like us to get a midfielder just to add depth, even if it's just that, because it depends if Pogba goes or not.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But then, like I said, it's very hard right now because there's no teams. It's not like you can go to Tottenham and raid them like we used to, or Villa or whatever team. Everyone has money now. They don't need to sell players. Yeah. So we're going to have to play a ridiculous amount if it's an English player. So we may want to go for a young player out, like a Fernandes. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I don't necessarily think that we will... He needs a couple of transfer windows, but I think the majority of his business is going to happen next summer. So we've just got to wait to then see how that goes. And like I said, this time next year, we should be believing that we're going to finish top 4. Now, right now, it could happen, but we're not really confident, right? Yeah. Like I said, if they finish 9th, I'd still take that with a good cup run. For this year. That's just for this year. It sounds ridiculous to say that as a Man United manager, but he's blooding in youth, and he took over a crap position.
Yeah. I think we'll finish higher than that, but just the players I'd like to see, I mean, it would... If we could make it happen, obviously Jadon Sancho's an incredible player over in the German league. He's 19, he's English, he's looking fantastic, he's been talked about. But that's really not the most important position. Like you say, Haaland is probably the most important position, or a creative midfielder, like a Bruno Fernandes or an Eriksen. I know Eriksen's probably not that realistic or even the best option at the moment. But yeah, that's what we need. The two positions we're really crying out for, because we've got James, Rashford, and then you can play who you want in behind the striker. But when there is striking issues, when Martial's picked up a knock and he is quite injury prone, or if he's not at the races, you need somebody to come in there. Sure, Greenwood's a great option, but he's 18. Maybe he looks like he'll play across that 3 rather than up top at the moment anyway. So, definitely Haaland would be good, and a creative midfielder.
I still don't think Fred's the answer, unfortunately. No, I think McTominay can be in there. You need that. You need someone in there. Matic certainly isn't the answer. You need someone there that's a proper player. Yeah. And we don't have
We need like a Kante. If we had a Kante and then we had a Bruno Fernandes...
I've only seen him play a few times, but this Grealish lad looks like he's got something about him.
Oh, yeah.
So that may be an option.
He's a twat, isn't he? But in a good way. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what you need a bit of that sometimes.
I think you'd really like him if he was at your club.
Oh, 100%.
And,
He's that type of player.
Those are the players you want.
Yeah. It's like Ronaldo. Ronaldo seems very, very arrogant, very,
I love
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
But we love Ronaldo. A lot of people love Ronaldo. Some people hate Ronaldo because of that. But, you do need a bit of that, especially to be a top professional in your field. So
he was in the air for 1.5 seconds.
That was incredible.
When he scored that goal yesterday, he was in the air for 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Just so you know, that's a ridiculous amount of time to be in the air.
Also, he looked like an actual bionic salmon.
How high he got in the hang time. I mean, how do you can't defend against that.
No.
You literally can't defend against that. It doesn't matter who you are. Maybe you could argue that the defender could have kind of nudged him and put him off. So
yeah.
I get that, and don't get me wrong, players like Vidic and Terry and players like that would have done that. But God, that is ridiculous. It's easy to say that, but it's hard to do.
Yeah, he's
so good in the air.
He's unbelievable. Yeah.
He's so good at everything.
I agree with you. But yeah. Anyway, I mean, great chat, Tom. Thank you very much for stopping by on the podcast today. We'll do another one before you go. Just want to get this one out today because obviously.
Can we do like a general one as well?
Sure.
I want to talk about life.
Yeah.
Love and the pursuit of happiness.
Okay then, but definitely just because there's obviously Solskjaer is leaving. Sorry, it's been at the job for a year. So we want to sort of talk about it. But anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for the show today. Shout out to Tom. Thank you very much for stopping by, Tactician Tom. Check out his YouTube channel as well. Do us a favour.
I might put something on there at some point.
Yeah. Do us a favour, if you enjoyed this chat, please do smash a cheeky little like on it. Get your thoughts and opinions in the comment section as well. Because obviously there's a lot of talking points which we discussed, some that you probably agree with, some which you might not agree with. Let us know what you think of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's progress as United manager in the year that he's been here. Regardless of who you support, if you're a neutral, if you're a rival fan, we'd love to hear from you. So let us know what you think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first year in charge. It's an Oliversary right now. And I personally am happy for it. I'm hoping that there's many Oliversaries that present themselves over the years, because I want him to be a success too, because he is a nice bloke and he bleeds United. And that's not a reason to be United manager, but give him time. Let's judge him on
he's done enough.
Actually doing a job after a couple of seasons like we did the previous managers.
Yeah, he's done enough for me to warrant that for sure.
Exactly. Jose got 2.5 years and hundreds of millions of pounds worth of transfers.
This time next year we can really judge him. And we just, even this time next year, it's not like I want us to be like we can win the league this year. I just want to see the plan is working, which we're kind of seeing. The progression is there, and we will be challenging. And then if he gets it right, we'll be challenging year in, year out in a couple of years.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Nice one. All right then, mate. I thought you were going to leave me hanging there. But anyway, thanks very much for tuning in, guys. Have yourselves a good one. Come on, United. Obviously, Watford on Sunday. We're doing a watch-along for that one. He's got his Walker's Crisps. He's got his four bonds. He's got his custard creams. He's loving it. The home comforts of England. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Take it easy. You've been watching The Pig and the Tomcat on Flying Pig United. See you soon. You're not going to say bye?
No.
See you later, guys.
Cheers.
Nice one, yeah.